prior to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at his age, even at an elder version of him.
And shit, it was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny. Because damn, if he can do that off 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one. Where the sport of boxing is when the world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao.
Yes, Manny, you can't come out of retirement because this guy is so bad. Like, that fired him up a little bit, and then he goes in the ring and he does nothing. He goes in the ring and, like, I thought it was an embarrassing performance from a 30-year-old champion.
Fighters are genuinely terrified of Manny Pacquiao's comeback because, even at 46, he moves like he's still in his prime. Sean Porter, who witnessed Manny's training and his performance against Barios, confidently stated that Pacquiao is still the same dangerous force. Despite his age, Manny's speed, footwork, and intensity remain as sharp as ever. Opponents fear that the legendary version of Pacquiao hasn't faded, and that is still capable of dominating top-tier fighters today.
What do you think about the overall match? Everything, man. Watched him train like last week or the week before, and amazing to see him still move and bounce, do all the same things that he was doing in camp years ago when I was with him. So he's still locked in. He's still him, Crazy, but he is. You know what they say, man. Last thing to go is that power.
Chris Algieri, who once stepped into the ring with Manny Pacquiao during the prime of both their careers, offers a rare and respected perspective. According to Algieri, there's something extraordinary about Pacquiao that transcends time. While most fighters decline with age, Pacquiao remains a puzzle that even younger, fresh opponents struggle to solve. Algieri describes him as one of the hardest fighters to prepare for, unpredictable, fast, explosive, and relentless. He emphasizes that age is irrelevant when it comes to Manny's capabilities, as Pacquiao possesses a unique physical and mental edge that no training camp can replicate or anticipate. For Algieri, Pacquiao's comeback isn't just possible, it's dangerous for anyone standing across from him.
Prior to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at his age, even at an elder version of him.
In his fight against Mario Barios, Manny Pacquiao shocked audiences with how much of his trademark style remained intact. At 46, the expectation was that of a faded legend trying to recreate old magic. Instead, fans witnessed blistering footwork, fast combinations, and clever angles, everything that once made Pacquiao a feared champion. What stood out most was the closeness of the rounds. Even those he didn't win on the scorecards were fiercely competitive. His timing, ring generalship, and stamina all held up impressively. While Barios was expected to dominate due to his youth, he often found himself reacting rather than controlling the fight. It was clear that Pacquiao wasn't just participating, he was still competing at a high level.
I think Manny's always been good at that. And my son really pointed it out perfectly. He was still good at it. He was still good at it. I think he was stealing some rounds at the end. Whether he deserved them or he didn't deserve them. Whatever. They were close rounds. He might have stolen on the judge's cards. What we shouldn't forget is he's a special guy. And he put a special performance. I never saw camps on the legs of somebody that big. I mean, it's incredible. I thought early on he stumbled a little bit. I thought his legs were stumbling a little bit, like you might see in a 46-year-old, a little bit. But at the end, they got the act together. He used him pretty good. He used him pretty damn good. What I think he also did was maybe a little bit of, I think the word illusion is too powerful, but I'd say a little misleading, where he threw those real fast punches like my son said. They weren't quality punches like they used to be, where there was real impact and real power at the end of it. They were more like just good punches. And they weren't all being impactful. They weren't all landing clean. Some did, but they weren't all landing clean. And they definitely weren't landing with real power. They really weren't.
Social media personality and fighter Salt Poppy joined the conversation with a bold take on a potential rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. According to him, Manny's current form shows that he's still active, well-conditioned, and mentally sharp. Unlike Mayweather, who has spent years away from real competition, Salt Papi believes that if the two legends were to meet again, the outcome would be dramatically different from their 2015 encounter. This time, Manny's rhythm, activity, and hunger would overpower Mayweather's aging reflexes. While Mayweather has kept his record intact through exhibitions, Salt Papi argues that Pacquiao's true return to form makes him the more dangerous of the two today.
Have you spoken to Manny recently? I know you're friends with him.
No, I haven't spoken.
What would you want to see him do next?
Fight Floyd Mayweather or Javon Tank?
You think he beats Tank or near prime Tank Davis?
Yeah, we'll see. Like styles make fights. So you just don't know.
What about Mayweather versus Pacquiao too?
Yeah, that'll be a good fight. Money is still active.
Okay.
Pacquiao's performance against Barios was a reminder of why he is a generational talent. Every time Barios tried to engage, Manny responded with 2 or 3 lightning-fast punches. His output, energy, and footwork stood in stark contrast to Barrios' cautious and often reactive style. What impressed fans and critics alike was how youthful Pacquiao's movement still appeared. His legs were constantly in motion, cutting angles and creating opportunities. Many observers questioned the official result, pointing out that Manny's aggression and volume far outweighed Barrios' sparse counters. It wasn't just that Pacquiao looked good for his age. He looked like he still belonged at the top.
That's not what happened. Barios was so tentative in this fight. He was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear because Manny was hitting with combinations. They were hurting super bad? Maybe not. Some of them definitely were. Had a mouse under the eye, Mario Barios, but others were just flurries, and they were keeping Barios at bay. When Barios was throwing 1, I was throwing 3. When Barios was throwing his jab, Manny would counter with his lead right hand, stepping on the inside plane, doing all the old Manny shit. It was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny. Because damn, if he can do that off 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one, where the sport of boxing is when the world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao. But 2, just how great he was. 8 division world champion, started his career at 106, I think, comes up to 147.
Skeptics have questioned Manny Pacquiao's motive for returning, suggesting that financial incentives might be the primary driver. Given his legendary status and historic achievements, he has nothing left to prove. As a Hall of Fame world champion in 8 divisions and a global icon, Pacquiao could comfortably remain retired. Yet, his decision to come back has raised eyebrows. Critics argue that at his age, the risks outweigh the rewards, especially considering the increasing physical toll that boxing demands over time. They believe that no amount of pride or legacy building justifies stepping into the ring again, unless there's substantial payday involved.
Manny Pacquiao crazy for coming back and fighting is because they don't understand what's going on in Manny Pacquiao's life. When a fighter is 46 years old, he doesn't just come back to fight a top fighter because he just wants to fight a top fighter. When he's going through that, that's what brought him to that place in the first place. And that is having what we call bandage thinking. He's totally scattered his brain and lost so much money over the course of time. And the same thing that happens when you get a paycheck and you start spending, and because you get shiny object syndrome, you want to get the new watch, you want to get the new gear, you want to eat at the restaurant, you want to go spend money. That's shiny object syndrome. And you can't get it under control the same way that Manny Pacquiao did. He couldn't get things under control. So therein lies the situation where all of that money that he's made, hundreds of millions of dollars, just burnt. And now you gotta fight. But if you really stop focusing on the symptoms and start concentrating on the root of this thing, and the root of this thing is bandwidth, shiny object syndrome, trying to be so relevant in so many different scenarios. You want to train, you want to run this other business, you want to do this. You got this great idea. And it all boils down to the term that I use all the time, and that's compensatory control. Laser focus. Get one idea, follow through with that idea. You got to have a plan in order to do it. And that's how you get to from here to here. You don't have to fight anymore. And that is my message today. Just understand why you're scattered. Understand why you can't get anything going all the way through. You can never finish that thought process and execute the plan, and therefore you continue to find yourself in a situation where you're just trying to find a way to get back to where you were, which is easy. But if you stay locked in and concentrate on the compensatory control factor of your life, which is doing everything that you think of every single day the exact same way, and I take 1 minute and go through that playlist.
However, Pacquiao has consistently refuted claims that money is his motivation. Over the years, he has built a reputation not just as a fighter, but as a generous humanitarian. From funding hospitals to supporting disaster relief efforts in the Philippines, Manny has never been shy about sharing his wealth. He often reminds the media that he fights for his people, not his pockets. His return, he says, is about passion, legacy, and inspiration. Manny wants to show the world that age is just a number when the heart remains strong. For him, it's about proving to himself and others that greatness doesn't expire. With the Barios fight behind him, speculation about Pacquiao's next opponent has taken over boxing headlines.
When I became world champion, I realized that this is the time that I can help my family. Before that, we don't have food to eat in one day. We just drink a lot of water to survive. And I remember one time, my young brother is 5 years old back then, and he's crying like in the afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon. He's crying because he's hungry. He's asking for food. We don't eat breakfast. We don't eat lunch. We don't understand what is. When you're telling him no money, we have no money to buy food, and he's crying like, "Mom, I'm hungry." Like he's crying. And I look to my mom and look at his eyes, and I feel flow in his eyes, and I feel so sad. And of course, I'm crying also because hungry. We drink water just to survive. That's our past, so that's why I always told him that, Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao, but I don't have the right to become arrogant, to become boastful. I want to stay humble because we've been there. We came from nothing.
Rolando Romero has emerged as a frontrunner, especially after training footage surface suggesting he's already preparing for the challenge. His camp has shown enthusiasm about the matchup, and Romero has publicly stated that he'd be honored to share the ring with a legend like Manny. Meanwhile, names like Gervonta Davis have also been floated, though the likelihood of that fight remains uncertain due to promotional conflicts and time.